Hey, I'm Brian Van,
I'm Max Van.
and today we're going to recap MotoAmerica Round 7 back to Mid-Ohio.
So MotoAmerica was back at Mid-Ohio for the first time in, what was it, 10 years?
Long time, dude.
Something like that. You know, I remember back in the day when it was AMA Pro Sportbike or something badass. And, you know, he was racing
I
Moto.
raced 2 SuperSport rounds in 2011.
He did.
Mid-Ohio was one of them. I didn't do very good there.
It was pretty cool, but I mean, hey, it's a
I
badass
qualified.
track. I've always wanted to go there. And
now you did.
It was a cool weekend. You know, it was kind of nostalgic seeing some shit that I remember when I was like 3 years old. I think that was the last time I'd been there.
Probably.
But yeah, it was cool. It's cool. Good weekend
Good
overall.
night. So they had an extra practice day available on Thursday.
Yep.
$400 track day.
Yep. $400 track day for,
Ouch.
what was it, 4 sessions, 20 minutes, which is cool. I mean, you're getting to ride with the baddest dudes in the country and some of the
In SuperSport.
best in the world, so it's badass.
So we have 2 bikes. We have an A bike and a B bike. They're effectively the same bike.
Yeah.
One bike slightly newer than the other bike, slightly fresher.
Yep.
The plan there was, hey, let's just go ahead and ride the B bike on the practice day, and then on the next day, you know, we'll start off on the A bike. But then he rode so well on Thursday.
Yeah, on the A bike. Well, I didn't ride super well for the first 3 sessions because my tire wasn't making it. Tire wasn't making it the whole.
So we had some tire wear issues, like where he couldn't even. Well, to be fair, he's never turned a lap there. Okay. And we show up, and I think your first session, 33.1?
Yeah, but I was still pretty far back. I think I was in like 14th or something like that.
Out of 39 people, that's terrible. Oh, no. You know, so we did have serious tire wear issues. There were also a handful of people that were racing there at the vintage days.
Yeah. Which
Previous to that.
I don't know how you're able to do that.
Yeah,
but
whatever,
it's
dude.
cool.
Who cares?
It's cool.
In the end, you proved you didn't really need the practice, so it's okay. You know, we had some real tire wear issues at this round, which were interesting. The B-bike worked great, and we ended up sticking with it all weekend.
Yeah.
But the tire wear issue, the rear, was a real problem for us.
I was like 6 or 7 laps, and it's terrible.
Just chunked, just fucked.
It's terrible.
Right? We run Olin suspension is what we've run all year. Same, you know, specs as what you see over there at Team Hammer. We've used K-Tech in the past, and, you know, our buddy Jake Lewis is using K-Tech, and, you know, he's mentioned, he was like, dude, you need to try it. Well, after the issues we had, I'm like, now's the right time, you know, because that was one of the issues it allegedly helps with. So, you know, we worked with our boys over at K-Tech, right? Skip, Birch, the whole team, Kendall, and they got us a shock put together real quick. I do want to right now give a quick thank you to Chris Meyer, right? It was actually Chris's birthday gift that he ended up letting K-Tech build for Max to use. So thanks, Chris. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, help me out. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, it made you know, this is a great story this weekend. So without that shock, I'm not 100%.
And my tire made it the whole race.
It changed the game, dude.
It was sick.
That 4th session, he went out on another R7. And this one came in, and that one was a little bit shortened. I think a red flag shortened.
No, I wasn't red flag
rained.
shortened. It started raining. I stayed out there when it was drizzling, and I think I was like 30.0. I was 7th overall in that session, and it was, you know, and I went a second and a half faster than I did in the previous session.
Tire was perfect.
Great.
And that tire should have torn to shit because the track temperature dropped.
Cold, a lot.
Right, we had more cloud cover. The air temp was a little bit lower. You know, very slight rain. So then we had that decision to make. He decided, this bike's working good. I want to ride it.
Yeah.
So that's what we ended up running with. Let's go ahead and move right into now the normal race weekend, Friday.
It was the most confusing weekend. Like, you know, FP1, I thought I was getting ready for Q2, but it was the complete opposite. I think I went out for FP1. Honestly, I don't remember what time I did. It was like a 30.04, 30.08 or something like that was my
right where you left off.
It was a green track. It rained overnight, pretty gnarly. But, you know, went out there, rode pretty well. I think I was right in the 10th spot or maybe a couple positions ahead. Yeah, felt pretty good. And then it was time for Q1. Didn't really make any bike changes all weekend other than that new badass K-Tech shock. And I think some longer gearing.
And what we doing Q1?
Q1, went out there, rode pretty good. You know, Blake Davis Blake's a very fast rider. You know, N2, Bobblehead Moto Team, they have that Yamaha R6 working great. And, you know, went out behind him. He's really good at going fast on the first couple laps of the session of the race. And
Yeah, Blake doesn't waste any time.
No, he took off.
He gets right to it.
He took off. And I love riding with Blake. It brings back a lot of old memories from the Junior Cup when we used to race and ride and qualifying together a little bit. But, you know, he took off, and then I ended up kind of reeling him in the last couple laps. I came in, got a new tire. I think I was sitting like 8th position. And then after that, you know, put the new tire on, went out, spun some more laps, ran into a lot of lap traffic, and the tire started to fall off. I ended up doing a 28.9. I qualified 9th that day. It was pretty good. I was happy with myself, that's for damn sure.
100%.
So we were good.
Q2 Saturday morning. Was there weather Friday night too?
Yeah, there was weather Friday night. Track was green as shit once again in the morning at Mid-Ohio. But yeah, I went out there. I did a 29.0. There was so much lap traffic, it felt like a freaking track day.
39 people on a 2.4 mile course is a lot of people.
It's a lot, but
that's the reality of it. You end up with a big variance in speed too. And you know, like one thing I'll say about you, when you're out there qualifying in Supersport, I've never seen any footage of you touring at all.
No,
No, you're riding.
No, and you know, in Junior Cup we used to do that a little bit because you
wait for a draft.
You wanted the draft, but I realized, like, after watching Junior Cup, seeing these guys doing that, just a waste of time. You know, it's kind of fucking with your mindset, if I'm being quite honest.
You want to do the work and stay up. Up to
makes you
speed.
think that you can't do it yourself. But I was on a real good lap. I probably would have been like a 28.5, but I ran into some traffic, no big deal.
It's part of the game.
Qualified 10th overall, and I was ready for race 1.
Larry Pegram got him.
Yeah, the Worm, I think, is his nickname.
That is his nickname.
Man.
That dude's old and he's still very
He's old,
fast.
but it's cool being able to ride with him. You know, you got the video games, and I see the old school riding style. I'm like, man, I wonder if anybody still actually fucking rides like that. And after seeing him ride,
have you seen your body position?
oh, it's much better than Larry's, but
Is it?
He's a much,
Is it really?
A little bit. Sorry, Larry, you're still faster than me. I'll give you that.
Yeah, that's a fact, Jack. That is a fact. So, a lot of weather this weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and we had a ton of family. It's a home race for us. I mean, we had an unbelievable amount of support there for you. Blessing and a curse, isn't it?
Yeah. So race started. I was in a good position. I think I was in 11th.
No, wait. Let's talk about how this whole thing went down, right? You know, we got the Exxon Valdez team in Supersport. I won't even say their name. Everybody knows who it is. They put more oil on the racetrack this year than the baggers ever have, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So we ended up having a dry race start.
Yeah.
The dry race start was after we had a 15-minute acclimation session to go out on wet tires.
Yeah.
Right? And then we're in a hold, and then the track dries out, and then we're into dry tires, right?
We're into the race, yeah. I think like on our second or third lap, I was in a good position. I was in a group with Kayla, I don't know if Blake was in there, but I know it was Kayla, Larry, David Anthony. I mean, we were all fucking setting sail.
Looking good, dude.
Ripping, man. Track was pretty green just due to the rain. And then somebody blew a motor, unfortunately, and the leaders went down. And
PJ and
but I will say,
PJ and Stoltz both went down in the oil.
They both went down like simultaneously. It was kind of funny to watch.
Not if you were them.
Not if you were them, no, but I watched the video afterwards, and I mean, it was pretty wild. But I did feel it into there. I mean, there's definitely oil on the track, because I remember I'm like, you know, I get on the brakes at one lap, and I couldn't see the leaders, you know, because they were already pretty far ahead, if I'm being brutally honest. But I'm like, damn, like I don't even feel like I'm going that deep. But is that the limit? Is that all this front tires got? But it turns out it wasn't.
It was oil.
It was oil.
So, okay. Now we end up in this, we're all sitting there, weather's looking nasty and threatening.
Yeah, Redo,
They
Flago.
took this big box of soap out there on a JLG lift, and they're scrubbing it was the worst of the worst.
Like Dawn could have filled their dish soap commercial when they're cleaning the ducks in
terrible.
the puddle that MotoAmerica
The whole thing
had going on.
The whole thing was terrible, and you know, then they delay our race, put a bunch of races after, and they ended up dry. They got dry,
Superbike ended up dry. But what about the youngsters, man? We're the dumber riders that are gonna make more mistakes.
Junior Cup got canceled. Hooligans got canceled.
Yeah.
We end up going off at like
I think it was a little after 6.
It was crazy.
We ended at 6:45 after talking to Kendall over at
Yeah.
K-Tech. It was insane. I finished 16th. I went out on a rain front and
Slick rear.
a slick rear. I've never done something like that.
Yeah, and I'm the one who made that call.
It's not his fault. I rode like absolute garbage, for the first 8 laps of the race, and with 4 laps to go, I put my head down, and my lap times are good enough for like probably P10, P9. But again, it's a learning curve. Larry Pegram got on the podium, which is cool to see.
Awesome. And
He was leading
that's
the race
experience,
too.
dude.
That's fucking so cool.
He's fast and he has a tremendous amount of experience,
Yeah.
and he goes out there and, he knows what to expect in those conditions. You've
Yeah.
never ridden in mixed conditions. It looked like it was going to be full wet. We had slicks on, and then it just starts drying out of nowhere. And I didn't have enough time to put his slick front on. So I had to make a call, and I'm like, I'm going to get you some traction in the back. I explained to him how I thought he should ride the bike. But one thing I do like about you is instead of just going out there and sending shit and weeding a bunch of bikes, figuring it out, Max is going to take his time to figure it out. He knew he'd never been on a setup like that. So the first few laps, he got passed by people that would typically.
I was in like 24th place.
It was pretty funny.
I was terrible. I thought
It
about
was
pitting
so
in.
bad, I was going to put the in sign on the pit board and hang it over the wall
Yep.
and bring him in.
But then I thought about
It was so bad,
Yeah.
I was going to charge him for the fuel and the tires that he was burning.
I was waiting for him to say something like that when I came into the pits, but I ended up putting my head down the last couple laps. I passed a lot of people. Some guy and I came together on the last lap, and I think he ended up.
How did that happen?
He kept looking back everywhere when I saw him in the distance, and he came onto the back straightaway coming out of turn 4, which is the keyhole, I think.
Yep.
And I'm on his right, and I'm out driving him, and he looks back to the left side, trying to see if anybody's there. And I'm sure that was because of his rain tires were all, messed up, and each wanted to manage his position. And he looks back, and he, as I'm passing him, he ends up veering over to the right, and he looks back over because he probably hears a bike in his ear.
What's the closing speed difference like? Was it significant?
It was significant, probably like 10 miles an hour. And he must have gotten spooked, and he hit me, and I got into a little bit of a tank slapper, but I kept going, and I think he went down.
He fell down, but he's all right.
Hope he's good, yeah. So he was able to race the next day. So.
Okay, so he came in. There was a little bit of redemption there. We made a little bit of fun of him, and I think in the end too, like you were mad at yourself for taking so long to get there, but you did get there. You did
Eventually.
What was your best time?
Like a 39.9, which is okay. I mean,
in super mixed, fucked up conditions. So that's the boring part. Now let's talk about Sunday.
Yep.
Sunday's a brand new day. The weather's in and out, in and out, in and out. You had a good warm up. We get out there for the race start, and you're the most nervous I've ever seen you.
I was nervous, dude. I was nervous. Yeah.
I don't even know why, but whatever.
I had a lot of family there. I don't know. I kind of wanted to prove something to myself, and went out. Weather was good and it was dry. Started the race on the first lap. I
Crashed my bike.
ended up crashing. Yeah, I crashed into turn, I think it was 11.
What'd you do wrong?
It's Thunder Valley. So what I did was, I think I was back in like maybe 13th position. I was in a pretty shitty spot. As I'm downshifting, I didn't downshift. I just hit the shifter enough to where the auto blipper engaged, and I was on the front brake. So it like tucked immediately as soon as I hit the shifter. Got back on the gas, saved it sent me straight up, and then it just got a little bit out of shape again. I had to tuck it. One of those unfortunate situations.
But then, please hold.
Another bike blows up in the same corner.
Another bike. Thank you, 3D Motorsports.
Sorry, Jacob Cross.
Yeah, sorry, Jacob, but you know what? Sometimes it's better to be lucky than it is to be good. You got a little shot of redemption.
Yeah.
They oiled the track down. Complete restart. Original grids. He rides the bike in, and I'm thinking this thing's going to be weeded, right? I'm thinking the throttle's fucked up, everything, no way I'm getting him out there. I'm telling the team, like, we'll do what we can. He comes in, I pulled off the lower and dumped the rocks out. I grab on to the lever guard, adjust it up, tighten it. The brake lever, the Gale Speed Masters, it has a friction joint. The lever's able to fold down or up. It folded down just a little bit. Master was fine.
Yeah.
I folded up, checked the torque on the bolt. We had a little bit of a bend in the right clip-on tube.
Yep.
No time to do anything with that.
No, but I will say, when there's a slight bend in a clip-on tube, or if it's a little bit off on the angle position compared to the other, it's very noticeable somehow.
You're the one who crashed the bike, dude.
I'm the one who crashed the bike, yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I was riding like this a little bit. But it was
And
cool.
your airbag went off. So.
And my airbag went off, so I had no airbag. But again, I mean, my RST suit kept me safe, my CD boots, my Shoei helmets, and of course my racer gloves. Those fucking worked phenomenal. 2 crashes in them, and they're...
Shameless plug number 3 today.
I know, but if I'm being honest,
They worked great.
All
right, now let's talk about the race.
Yeah.
So, okay, there's a lot of tensions. There's a lot of emotion. Now he's got like the Rock of Gibraltar on his shoulders in terms of pressure. It's been a very challenging weekend. And we go out, regrid, and we're in P10. You get a good start.
Yeah, an all right start. I was just up there riding with the guys. I think I was right in 11th, and I'm on the back of this group ahead. I think there was Larry Pegram, I think Stefano Mesa and Blake Davis were off in the distance. Larry Pegram, David Anthony, and Kayla Yakov. She was riding great all weekend. And
as usual, she always
as
rides
usual,
great.
Yeah, she always
Take
rides
after
great.
Kayla a little bit more, buddy.
I know, right? I know, right?
Exactly.
Maybe if I rode as much as they did.
Well, I need you to work. So, long story short, I'm stressing out a little bit because I don't like having him out there on a bike. I didn't really have a chance to give a really good look at. I knew he had no airbag. He's my kid. I actually care about him more than I care about the finish. Lap after lap, I'd watch sector 1, I'd watch sector 2, and then I'd jump over the wall to make sure he's still there. And I noticed the group behind you were just pulled away from them. So I'm like, okay, that's a good thing. You're in a good spot. The vulnerability is gone. You're chasing David Anthony, very seasoned veteran, very fast motorcycle rider, and he wasn't getting away from you.
No, it's so cool riding with those guys too, especially like Larry and Dave. Just knowing how much history they have all across the world riding. It's just it's badass. I think about it every time they pass me, I pass them as I'm riding. I'm like, I got a smile on my face. This is pretty badass.
That's pretty badass.
So
we get to the very last lap of the race.
Yeah.
And I looked at sector 1 and sector 2, so I have no idea what's going on. I'm like, dude, we're gonna bring this bad boy home in P10.
Yeah.
Like you settled in, life is good, and all of a sudden, I see David Anthony come across the line, right, or come around the last left-hander on the front straight, and then here's him. Kayla's
she was right behind me.
Right behind him now, and he's nodding his head up and down. He's feeling pretty good about himself, and he was able to make his way by her. And she's a great racer, dude. Take the she out. Great racer, and to be riding right with her, racing with her. Yeah. That was great. Especially with all the stress and the pressure. There's, I think, things, we're all learning about tire compounds there. Like, I think what we figured out there too, that you really need a 5 front. We tried 0s and 3s and 1.5, but then you wanted to go back to the softer stuff, and they tear up.
Yeah, exactly. And
it holds you back a little bit at the end. But, your lap time too was...
Pretty reasonable. So I did 28.9 overall on the weekend. I had the 8th fastest lap of the race in race 2. Because track was green. But I'm happy. Like, again, I don't ride. I don't really train. I just work out. I sell gloves. I sell helmets. I sell parts. I sell RST suits. I sell
and you mow the grass.
And I mow the grass.
It's a rough life.
And I get to hang out with my awesome family, my girlfriend, and it's cool to see. I'm proud of myself for actually finishing all right when racing is not my full-time job, just a hobby.
I'm going to say this right now. Finishing where you finished, when I look at how stacked this class is, right? I mean, dude, that's like winning a MotoGP. We celebrated this one pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to get a trophy, but you also, you have to be realistic. You're pretty new to this, right? Not a lot of experience, and we just don't have the kind of time to put into it that it would probably take. You're getting closer to the tip of the spear. Yeah. And if we can keep working there, maybe we can get the stars and the planets to align, and we pull the bike off the trailer one weekend, and you just have that weekend. Yeah. And maybe get a trophy, and we're just going to keep working towards that. We got Coda coming up. That's a good round for the Suzuki. We've ridden there one time, the tire test.
2021, a little while ago on the 400.
So you know the track.
Yeah, it was good. It's a fun track. It's bumpy, but it's going to be
we're excited for that.
I'm playing it in MotoGP 24 with Avery Dreyer and Andrew Way. Fucking having fun.
Yeah, 100%.
I beat him every race. Sorry, boys.
Well, Avery beat you plenty last year.
Yeah, something cool. Avery Dreyer's coming to stay with us for the next couple weeks after on this following Monday. I don't know when this video is going to be posted, but sometime. So it's going to be cool.
You'll be able to call in and buy stuff from Avery or Max for a couple of weeks here as we roll on into September. That's all we got. That was a great round, dude. I love working on this stuff with you. thanks to everyone that helped us get there. Precision Track Days, Two Wheel Dyno Works, Detroit Custom Paint, Hot Bodies Racing, Vortex, SBS Brake Pads, Helmet House, CD Boots, Shoei Helmets, RST.
Everybody.
Racer Gloves, Dad, Mom, Dave, Jimmy, RJ.
My gloves one more time.
God.
They work. I don't know if you can zoom in, Tom, but they're motorcycle gloves and they protect you and they're the best ones in the world. So I think you should buy a pair.
All right.
Racer
And
Hyper gloves.
on that note, until next time.